Is my couch straight in this? Am I straight in this? Is everything balanced? Look good? Hello. Welcome to this present moment that we are all in together. I have been sharing the story of my journey with God. If this is the first episode you're watching, you should definitely check out my God origin story. You should also check out the moment I started questioning everything. So I'm picking up on my story at a point where I was starting to question really myself, how I had made the decisions in my life, how I had made these certain rules I was living by. Like, I was someone who had declared definitely no sex before marriage, but even no pretty much anything before marriage. My college boyfriend, you know who you are, you'll probably never watch this video. We both were like under the idea that dating was wrong. And so we kind of courted, as in we prayed about dating the whole time that we would have otherwise been dating. We just didn't do things that people do when they're dating. We just hung out a lot and we would pray together and we would hold hands and feel a little guilty about it. Then we took things to the next level, did some kissing, and then we felt really guilty about kissing. We ended up breaking up. We didn't get married. He's a doctor now. Then I have this trip to New York City and I have this experience at this off-Broadway show. Bing! And I actually saw myself for the first time in this spiritual experience on a theater floor. When you like are in high school and you're like a super strong Christian and you are in a group called STARS, which is a small group of students that are anti-drugs and anti-drinking, and you go around the flagpole and pray before school starts. These are like big moves and you're like, I'm going against the grain. I'm not trying to do stuff to fit in. I'm not going into peer pressure. So then to realize that peer pressure, fitting in, going with the grain of your Christian community has kind of led all your life decisions. So this is what's happening when I'm a junior in college and after this experience in New York. That starts unpeeling this onion or something. I don't know if onion's the right term. It's the only thing I can think of. You peel an orange, but you don't really peel an orange. I mean, you peel an orange before you eat the orange. I don't know about you, but I don't eat the orange peel. This is like the first kind of thread of the blanket. That is the analogy I wanted to get. You start pulling this loose thread and then suddenly like other things start to get loose. Started by me just questioning myself and me questioning how I had come up with my values and questioning, well, what does God really think? What does God really think about the things I've been doing and the rules I have decided upon for my life? This other thing that had happened when I was in New York, hanging out with my cousin Brooksy and going to Broadway shows and being this theater nut, this thing awoke in my heart that like started dreaming, that started to go like, could I really do something like this? Like, I never believed I could go for something wild, like trying to become an actress. I never had that kind of confidence. So this thing had been birthed in me where suddenly I was like, I'm gonna take the risks that I've been afraid to take. I'm gonna break out of the shell and move to New York City. So I do end up moving to New York City. Now I am out of the bubble. And now I am in this world full of everybody, of all sorts of belief systems, religions, or non-beliefs. I was going to this cool, young, hip church where they like had modern messages for like the modern, young Christian. Again, it's like youth group for adults. I'm just like in constant search of, can I just always find the next youth group level? At the same time, I was taking stand-up comedy classes, hanging out with comedians who were like 10 years older, 20, 30 years older, who just welcomed me into their world. And I would go hang out at this little cabaret theater called Don't Tell Mama. A lot of them were gay. There were like lots of amazing drag shows, and we would drink margaritas, get drunk on margaritas for the first time, just laugh at these comedians and be part of this little world and be around these people that were older than me, different than me, more life experience than me, and all sorts of life experience. But so they were kind of like opening up the world to me. Also, at the same time, I was working a job at this place called Media Play. They sold books, they sold CDs, they sold DVDs, all the different types of media. While I was there, I got this crush on this guy. He was like a total bad boy. He cussed like a sailor. He would cuss around me and I would just turn totally red. Like he would cuss just to make me turn red. He had really filthy jokes and filthy humor. He'd be working in the back room and like turn rap music so loud. He was pretty rough around the edges. He had multiple piercings, multiple tattoos. He smoked like a chimney. And there's even more to his story. And we just kind of had this funny opposites kind of terrorizing one another relationship. I don't know, for whatever reason, we really got along. His name was Brad. The thing that had started to happen was I started to go, what does my heart want to do? Like, what do I want to do? Because that experience I had had at that show and that experience in New York City where I discovered I didn't even have a dream. It was that had me going like, I want to find out what this heart says. So then the other thing that's happening is I'm 22 and I'm realizing I really don't have much relationship experience because I had been so afraid to date. It was a mixture of having my heart crushed and being afraid to ever be hurt again, and then getting really into the Christian world where suddenly like it really kind of limits your options for dating at all, and then who you're gonna date because the bar is so high on this godly Christian man that he must be, and then you're trying to wait and figure out, are we gonna get married? We shouldn't date unless we're gonna get married. I really felt like I missed out on the opportunity to experience relationships. I decided I'm gonna date whoever I want to date. So here's Brad, and I like him. And we start spending time together. The other great thing is I'm out of my bubble and I have this sort of freedom of nobody really watching or judging what I'm doing, or me not thinking they're watching or judging, whether or not anyone actually is or ever was. I'm not so held back by my fears of fitting in anymore because I don't have anywhere or anything to fit into. I'm just in New York where everyone's a bit of a freak and a weirdo or whatever they are, and I can just explore for the first time. And so I start dating this guy, Brad. Oh, that really deserves its own video. I guess this is the video. It was the total opposites attract love story. He said he'd show me around the town, and so he would take me to these different spots. Like he took me to like the Brooklyn Bridge. They took me to other cool spots in Brooklyn. He took me downtown. I don't remember where we went. It's been a while. We just walk around and spend time together, and his kind of tough guy thing would soften a bit, and I would open up, and we just slowly got to know each other, and we like fell in love. Yeah, it still touches me because it was real love, and it was a really yeah, it was a beautiful journey. Yeah, and it was kind of the thing where I don't think I knew till later in life how special it was, until I went through all the shit I went through after him. That'll be in other videos. We had this beautiful but difficult journey. It was kind of a constant. We'd have different battles because it was really my inner battles that I was having, because I was trying to find like how to keep this Christian faith that I had really recommitted myself to, and my relationship to God that was so important to me, and this like heart thing that's starting to go, maybe I didn't have to be so sheltered as I was, and what does my heart want, and what am I curious about? Maybe I'm gonna let myself explore for the first time in my life. That would sometimes be challenging, that in our relationship, and he had the not so easy job, maybe it was fun, but of like introducing me to things. Like we watched R-rated movies. We would watch the Chappelle Show. All the stuff I wouldn't have watched, we would watch it together. I smoked weed with him, and one time me and him and his roommate did, what are they, whippets? With like, yeah, that was weird. That was kind of a weird experience, but fun. And there were just things like that. Everything was so new to me. We took everything like really, really slow. I mean, emotionally, but physically, definitely. He had the patience of a saint, I'll tell you that. It was this really special time and difficult time where I kind of had my feet in both worlds. I'm still going to this cool Christian church, and in fact I became a member of the Christian church in New York. I'm also dating this total bad boy with a really wild past who treated me like a queen, but still he was introducing me to like a lot of other things in life. I was really lucky to have these different people who kind of gently like shared other types of lifestyles in the world with me and experiences. It was just really fun and magical and scary and emotional. Having a lot of fears come up about everything and doubts and feeling these pulls of kind of my past life and who I was and this sort of future new life. Trying to discover this path was like letting the safety go out the window and just trusting that somehow this is going to get me somewhere. The thing was, I was there. I was doing it. As they say, I was in the arena. And that's the thing I look back and is so special about that time is that I was allowing my ideas about reality, about truth, about God to be in question and to be challenged while still being in prayer with them. Stepping out of my comfort zone in big ways and just starting to see like, what's happening here? You know, starting to see that I had actually spent a lot of my life following this and the rules in this head to have this sense of safety. To have this sense of what is safe. If I live in this way and if I follow God's rules in this way, I will have this more safe, secure experience. Trying to discover this path was like letting the safety go out the window and just trusting that somehow this is going to get me somewhere. Thank you for listening. Have you ever explored how do I make decisions about right and wrong? Am I listening to my head? Am I listening to other people? Am I following cultural norms, whether it's the church or some other culture? What's really true for me? Have you ever gone through one of those like huge question periods? Please leave a comment, subscribe, share it with a friend you might think will like it. Leave a thumbs up. Did I cover everything? Ring a bell. Bye.